Hello YouTube pipe community, OTC Piper. Just coming to do a little bit on music and some channel news. Before we get started, I'll be enjoying some Cult Blood Red Moon. This is something that was brought to me by Dave, Catholic Pipe Starter, when he came to do the joint mantle that we did. By the way, thanks for everybody that was able to join us for that. As always, had a great time doing that. So being not an aromatic guy, I guess you would say, he brought that to me. I think I've tried it a while back, and he brought it to me, when we did the mantle. And gotta say, it's one of the aromatics that I am coming around to. I really enjoy it, and I've been, enjoying it quite a bit since that mantle over the last, I guess couple of days. So I did watch one of Gray Bailey's videos that he was talking about. He had done a Yabo, and he ordered some Lane TK6, and he said that was a close approximation in his mind to the Blood Red Moon. And I'm gonna have to, next order, I'm gonna order some of that, because if I can get something like this in a bulk variety, I definitely want to do that. As everybody that chimes into my channel knows, that I purchase a lot of bulk tobaccos and sell them. So that's what I'm going to try to do. He did that. I think that was on the one, Piping by Numbers or something, Pipe Smoking by Numbers, and he's talking about catching a lot of grief over lighting it this way or that, and by someone that felt it should be done differently. So, as I've been, a purist, not necessarily that I do that all the time, but when I do my channels here in the piping lounge, I always light a match. But I figured this one, I would dedicate this one to George. I'm going to light up with my Bic today. Because while I like lighting with a match, just because I'm old-fashioned, I guess, there's not really much of a reason. I'll second what he said, is if you enjoy it, do it. If it's a way that you enjoy to light your pipe, and you can enjoy your pipe, it doesn't matter how you get it lit. Just when you get it lit, you can enjoy it. And who's to say there's any right, wrong, or indifferent, on that, to be right, wrong, or indifferent on that. So we'll get into this. I turned my fan off, so I don't have a lot of ventilation right now. Let's see where we're at. So we talked a little bit during the mantle about the new channel that's going to be coming up soon. And I had been thinking, getting together some ideas with Dave about some topics that we would like to do. As we know that it's going to kind of grow and evolve as we do it, we got to have a starting point, at least for it to grow from. So I was considering moving the new Piper's Guide that I typically do to a segment on that show. That's just what I'm considering right now. There may be some elements to the new Piper's Guide that I may still do on my own channel, but I thought, it's still going to be, I guess, me doing it. It's just something that I'm going to dedicate to the pipe show. And on to the music. That's just one little note that I was going to make. And for anyone that may be chiming in that may not have been able to log on to the live mantle is the joint channel between me and Dave, the Catholic pipe setter, is going to be more along the lines of a 30-minute show that we're going to produce a couple times, every couple of weeks. Probably do one every, because with my work schedule, I get every other weekend off, and then I get some time during the week to do it. So having that kind of schedule, it seems like it's better to do a schedule every other week. So we'll see how that goes, and we may start doing it once a week. It just depends on, we gave ourselves a deadline of mid-October to get it pushed out. And from there, we're going to kind of see how that goes. I wanted to, he talked about wanting to wait until the first of the year. And I thought, well, if we got started now, at least we would be able to get a feel for it. And, the high points, the pitfalls, things that, we really need to do to get it, going in earnest by the first of the year. So if there's some things that, we may find in that time that work better than others, then we can start to implement those by the first of the year. So, so we're looking forward to a good time with that. Now, I was batting around some comments with Virginia Piper. He mentioned doing some writing and songwriting. I mentioned in there that I'd like to, see what he's got. And he mentioned on there, I told him I was a musician and did some songwriting, dabble around in some thoughts of, more literary writing. But most of it's been songwriting. So he said on there he'd like to hear some of the music. So I thought I would put a little music into a video. I'm not trying to hijack the Piper channel to do a music channel. That's actually one that I was thinking that I definitely want to start to implement once the pipe show gets off the ground. You're probably thinking, dang, how many channels does any one person need? Well, I got into, I started OTC Piper because I really liked the pipe community, YouTube pipe community. I wanted to be able to interact in that and to grow my own channel in with the pipe community. I'm a man of many interests. I believe in living every square inch of life possible. So I have a lot of interests, a lot of outdoor interests, hunting, fishing, self-reliance, things like that. But music is probably my greatest interest, which blessed my life so much over the past 30 years that I've been doing it. And started out as a young boy, and the journey that, from beginning to now is actually very interesting, and it is going to be the topic of my upcoming contemplations video, my addition into that series. So I'm not going to go into it in depth here so that I can save time on this video and have some content to do on my contemplations video. But I will say I started with the acoustic singer-songwriter folky type music, and after a long journey going through many other things, I'm back to doing that for the past few years. And you may have noticed in some of the up close things that I do that I have longer nails on my right hand and shorter nails on my left hand. And that's because I play fingerstyle guitar. Like a lot of fingerstyle guitarists, natural nail doesn't really hold up to the abrasive the abrasive nature of the strings. So you go to other links to fortify that. So I do an acrylic overlay on the hand that I do my picking with, and it holds up a lot better over time. I would say I don't put as much abuse on them as like a touring musician would do. But still, it's enough, and I don't grow strong nails anyways. It's been something that's helped me quite a bit. Since about the last few years, I've been getting into it more in earnest than I had been when I first started. When I first started, I like piping. I didn't have a whole lot of guidance from more experienced people, and I'm pretty much self-taught all the way through. I did some lessons with a local woman here that taught some lessons. She's unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But it's been it's been a journey of introspection and being able to teach myself. Has it's definitely made it more of a fulfillment now, looking back on everything, and I've just kind of grown at it in my own way. So I have brought up my steel string. I got my classical style that stays in here, and I pick around on it some. But it all started when I was young. I stumbled across a recording of a 1981 free concert in Central Park. Some of you may already know where I'm going with it. But there was a song on there that I gravitated to. That was I had not prepared to do any kind of vocal thing today, so I shall sip on my pipe while I play a few licks. The song that I learned how to do finger picking on, and still a song that I love to play a lot. It's a very fun song to do, and it goes like this. Bit of it. I'm sure you all know that was the Boxer, and there's still one that my little girl requested a lot of nights. I play some guitar and do some singing when she's going to sleep. She likes to do that. And I started that when she was just a baby, and she still requests it most nights. Here's another one from the same concert. Let me just try that again. Still messed it up. For some reason, I just couldn't get that lick. I don't know if it's the way I'm sitting, or maybe just because I'm trying to record a good video of it. But that's just a little bit about kind of where I come from and the things that inspired me in music. And let me get a relight. And because I know that, people may not come to, OTC Piper expecting to hear music all the time. So I thought about getting a channel set up for that at some point in the future. And I'm also writing a project now that I would like to be able to push out with the YouTube channel, because it's a way that I can, people that wish to come along and enjoy that, they may. When I was in the high school, later in high school and early in college, I was very much in the local music scene. And talking and collaborating with other musicians that have been involved in the music industry just revealed kind of what the music industry really was. And I'll say right now, it's not what it used to be. And I still go to those older artists and everything. Some of them have already gone. And there's music there that you just remember from so many decades ago. And you look at a lot of stuff that's coming out now, and it's so forgettable. And it's over-processed. There's just a lack of originality that I see now. And it seems to be like it's just a way to turn a quick profit and be on to the next new thing. And that's going to entice, record sales and then be done. So, that's been frustrating. And I just realized I didn't really want any of that. I wanted to do something with my music. It just seemed like the traditional routes, maybe prior to the many avenues that, social media creates now. Prior to that, there was just, one way you got in with a, record label, and you wound up having to do a lot of things that you didn't really want to do with your music. And, it's not really worth all of that to, do something with your music besides just play it at home. I want to be able to record some of the stuff that I'm writing and be able to share it with those that wish to, enjoy it with me. And, something like YouTube, like a YouTube channel now will allow me to do that and not have to, not have to stress out over record sales or anything like that. So that's, something that I'd like to get going. I'm still going to, the OTC Piper channel and the Pipe Show, which are going to be kind of joined. They're going to feed into each other. Of course, those are going to get the bulk of my attention with the music channel and everything. It's just something that I can throw out, whenever I have a chance to throw something out. And I did want to be able to collaborate with some other local musicians that may share in some of the same interests. And be able to bring them into that and do some things, locally, maybe playing out somewhere. And I've done a lot of that kind of thing. I have this book of cover material that I didn't necessarily always just go to Google and print off the tabs or anything. I kind of wrote out my own way of doing it, and I've played with a lot of bands that were into covering, and their whole thing was playing it exactly like the CD, and I just never really got onto that way of thinking, because if I wanted to hear the CD, I would just play the CD. So, I've kind of taken some liberties, made my made my own arrangements with some of that, and that's where I like it. I've lurked on the YouTube music scene as much as I have in the pipe scene in the past, and there's a lot of good stuff out there being done by individuals that just want to put a little bit of themselves into a cover piece or share some of their own music. So anyways, so that's kind of where that's headed. We'll just have to see, see how that's going to go. That's going to be after the pipe show gets up and running. And I'm trying not to stretch myself too thin. I've got a lot of interest. Most of my other sub interests like the outdoors and hunting and fishing and all that, they may come trickling in here and there to OTC, to this channel, OTC Piper. But the music is such a big part of my interest that I can't just trickle it in. I'm going to have to make it its own thing. So, especially being, growing up in church and everything like that, there's just this big misconception of what Christian music really is. And a lot of people don't even realize that there really is not a lot of difference when it comes to the behind the scenes stuff. A lot of the people that I've collaborated with in the past have gone to, that I would say collaborated with. We didn't, we played some shows together and things like that. They've gone from like a Christian label onto a secular label, I guess you would say. And, I asked them, hey, what makes you want to, not do, Christian music? And they said, well, we're still doing Christian music. We just got to move, we're just moving on to a record label because they are so cutthroat, And I thought, well, I didn't know, as a naive teenager, or early, in my 20s, I thought, well, surely that's not true of a Christian label. Well, sadly, it is. It's money drives it just like it does in any industry. And you see some of the same things, the overly processed, drivel with less meaning than it used to have. So with this, this writing project I'm doing now kind of plays into that. And where I want to see a music channel go would be to, I guess, bring back memorable music. So anyways, just a little channel update and some ramblings and of some things that I like to get going with. I feel like I've taken quite a bit of your time now. We're over 20 minutes, so I guess with that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for sticking with me this long, just so I can ramble a bit. OTC Piper, wishing everybody all the best. Here's a good times and a warm pipe.